Alright, so what's the first thing we're gonna do? We're gonna check the news, right guys? Because that's what we always do, and the reason that we do this is so that we can start to anticipate what potential weekly profile we might have. And bingo, gee, that is correct. Midweek reversal profile to pay attention to. That is something we definitely want to look at, right? We will see what happens at the end of the week, because if we get a different kind of weekly profile, well, we can talk about what that looks like when we have FOMC weeks. But for now, we do kind of want to be of the idea that there's going to be some sort of reversal in the middle of the week. So the next thing that we're going to do, right, is we're going to hop up on dollar and we're going to stick to the daily. Now, like we talked about before, the framework for really high probability day trading is to understand where the week is likely to expand, right? And then the daily kind of becomes what I would call our bellwether. It's like if I'm not mistaken, bellwether is like something that's outside that kind of gives you immediate feedback, we'll say quicker feedback, right? But if you notice, we have a gap here, very, very small, right? This is why we got to practice doing our gaps, even if like we feel like, you know what, I can see it pretty easily, there's no need for me to keep practicing fair value gaps. They can be tricky, right? We have this order block here, and we have this fair value gap, right? Now the weekly looks like that, right? So we would expect probably another move up, right? Especially because we got nice market structure break over here, right? And maybe we'll take a little peek at the monthly. Monthly looks a little bit consolidation. Kind of have my eyes on this monthly fair value gap, but the main thing we want to use, the most responsive thing, right, the thing that's going to help us the most, is going to be that daily chart, right? So on the daily, I have something similar, right? Now if we take the premium and discount, we can eliminate this part of the fair value gap and just keep it to this, right? Now what we want to see on dollar, in my opinion, if we're expecting some sort of midweek reversal, potentially we'll get something like we got the previous week, I believe, right, where we had this IRL to ERL move, and then we shot back down, we swept that low, and then we went back up. So something along the same lines I would be kind of anticipating. So right now I'm still bullish dollar because we've not yet had any sort of bearish indications minus this sweep, right? And anytime we get a sweep, two questions come to mind. This could either be a retracement or it could be a full-on reversal, right? In this case, it was a retracement into a expansion again, right? Retracement, expansion. So same thing here. It could be either or, but in order for me to really believe that it would be a reversal, I would have to start getting some convincing market structure breaks and mainly an inversion. If I start getting an inversion, that's where I'm usually like, okay, I'm much more confident in the fact that this is probably going to be a move back down. So as of right now, there are no devil's marks. We did already have like a nice little manipulation part of the wick, so to speak, right? We also took out previous weekly low, right, which is definitely a key level we always want to be paying attention to for potential retracement to expansions or reversals, right? So as of right now, we're going to stick to the idea that we're in this what do we call it again, IRL to ERL move, right? So we'll be looking for higher. Let's annotate. I want to get a little bit more stricter on that because sometimes you guys send me your charts and they look a little bit too much like mine, and I mean that in the way that nothing is annotated sometimes, which, you know, they should be, but been doing it for so long, it's like I tell myself, you know what, I don't need to do that. I don't want to do it, but I'm just gonna do it. We'll say a good example, and it's good for us too. So again, we have this potential daily sweep as well inside of this daily IRL. And one thing to kind of pay attention to, nothing to, I mean, it's not like a game changer, but a lot of times whenever you get this 1, 2, you know, three drives pattern, we'll say, right, where we have 3 points of contact like this, 1, 2, 3, and we're kind of sweeping out the previous lows. Usually after taking out the taking it out on this third movement, usually that's when reversals will kind of start to form, right? Reversals back higher. So again, we're going to be bullish on dollar now, and that kind of tells us that we should start maybe looking for some bearish framing on indices. But the main thing that I want to stress is that after Wednesday, things will become much more clear. For me, Thursday or maybe even Wednesday would be the more ideal trades, or the ideal days to trade. I just wouldn't trade I wouldn't trade the actual FOMC event if you're not that experienced. But if you've kind of been around for a while, we kind of already know that for FOMC we always kind of expect the like 2 o'clock move, right? And if the 2 o'clock move looks like that, then we expect the 2:30 to kind of reverse whatever happened there, right? So if you are going to trade FOMC, kind of expect a 2-stage event, right? I would wait till 2:30 to actually start trading. But yeah, we're going to be bullish dollar until we get this inversion, but we're going to be cautious because yes, if we do look at the indices, I mean, bro, like that is after we got this daily change in stated delivery, price said goodbye and it is gone, right? We look at the triad, all of them are pretty much in sync. And we do have some SMT down here, so that makes the, you know, makes the reversal valid, which makes me a little bit sad because I kind of, you know, I was seeing something like this, right? But I did want that weekly, the weekly discount like we talked about, right? But as I told you guys, when assets are highly bullish, you know, we kind of use that advanced method that I showed you where we get this half of the range and then we cut the upper portion into half as well, and then we get a advanced premium and discount, right? We get the discount and premium of the premium quadrant, which I know is a little bit wild, but yeah, so we hit this fair value gap right here that was inside the premium, or inside of the discount of the premium. It's a little bit of a mouthful. And we got that sweep as well, and then we got a really good movement after this daily change in stated delivery that qualifies, hey, we hit a key level and we have a high time frame change in stated delivery. Even the 4-hour was pretty nice, yeah. So you know, we finally hit it. We're looking for change in stated deliveries, we don't get any. We're looking for inversions, we don't get any. 4-hour, it happens right here, right? Change in stated delivery, and we're off, right, to these relative equal highs. This original consolidation, this should look like a really nice market maker buy model, right? We have that original consolidation, we have that sell side of the curve, key level. That lets us start to lean on the idea that we're potentially moving into the smart money reversal. We get that change in stated delivery here that tells us, okay, we got that confirmation, got a nice little fair value gap to be respected, and buy side of the curve ensues, and very aggressive. And like I told you guys, low resistance liquidity gets sliced through like a hot knife on butter. Okay, so at this point we have a really big gap, right? New week opening gap. Now if you're not really trading indices, I still think that they're very good to look at because most of the time, even though not right now, BTC is highly correlated with the indices. And it's really, really good to study because if you guys ever decide that you don't like trading BTC, I would say that this is the first best thing that you should trade because of the way that it respects timed openings. And we'll go more into that maybe another time. But just saying, like, I know that I can hop on a chart, and if I go to like the 9:30 open, it's always going to be really, really nice volatility. Here's the 9 o'clock candle. That's a really good move right there. And those 3 hours, right, in the New York session, right? 9, 10, 11. Ideally by 11 we're kind of done. But yeah. Yo, what's going on, John? Sneak, what's good, bro? We got all the homies pulling up. I will give you guys a little recap. Yeah, so dollar's looking a little bit bullish, right? We're trying to be careful because of how strong indices look. We have FOMC this week, so we're kind of flirting with the idea of the midweek reversal as we usually do, right? I don't think it's going to be consolidation reversal because we're already moving pretty quick out the gates. And yeah, so yeah, we're looking at NQ. We talked about how the discount inside of the premium quadrant of this whole leg. All right, maybe I'll put the 0 and 1 here. That's what we use to reverse, and we got some SMT here, right? See, this low stays intact, but if we look at YM, it does not. If we look at ES, it does not. So SMT to really qualify and strengthen that idea of the reversal. So we got that weekly IRL to weekly ERL, but we do have a devil's mark and we have a new week opening gap. So we're gonna go ahead and annotate that. There is our NWOG, some new vernacular if you guys don't remember. We'll make it a nice, okay, that's not a nice green. Make it a nice little green, and we'll put our devil's mark here. There we go. Make that a little bit smaller, and we'll drop back down to the 4 hour. So I would like to see, we already took out this significant high, we took out this buy side liquidity, right? So what I would like to see from now, hold on, let's get our annotations correct. Let's get it all nice and pretty. And this is how you guys should be annotating. You should know exactly what everything is. There should be no confusion. NQ looks good. Weekly C2 with possible daily volume imbalance and ERL taken. Yep. I mean, well, we did already have a C2. This is already C3. Okay. Maybe you're saying that this is potentially C2. I'm gonna assume that's what you mean. But yeah. So my assumption for the week would be we took out buy side liquidity. I would like to see us return to some form of IRL. The NWOG is IRL. There's also that really, really nice devil's mark. If you guys don't know what a devil's mark is, whenever you see a candle that has a bottomless wick or a topless wick, easy. I know I said topless wick, but don't no one get excited, right? But essentially when it's just flat, there is no wick on the bottom or potentially on the top, we call that a devil's mark. There is a very high probability chance that we return to those levels. So maybe Monday, Tuesday, you know, we kind of move up a little bit. Maybe Wednesday is the catalyst to shoot us into here. Maybe dollar consolidates in here for a little bit. Maybe it pushes up and then consolidates, right? Something along those lines, because we are bullish dollar for now. If we get a daily inversion fair value gap, we can definitely step back on that idea, right? So we were trying to be a little bit fluid this week. Some of the weeks we already know right out the gate. Other times we got to be a little bit more take our time with it. Yeah. So yeah, really big movement straight out the gate. So we'll be looking for that. On NQ, BTC. Couple of things I wanted to talk about. Let's hide this on the weekly, keep the charts very nice and clean. So we have this move down, right? Let's put our anchors up just so everyone knows where we're anchoring from, right? From the high to the low. Here is our discount. Here is our premium. Right, so we have the whole fair value gap mapped out because we don't necessarily need to hit premium, right? We can do that advanced tactic that I mentioned earlier, where we do something like this, right? And we're already technically in a premium, but the ideal premium would be here, of course, right? Or even this small one up here. But I really just got my eye on this really large one. So with that being said, right, we already gotta kind of start thinking about the idea that we may get a weekly C2 here, right? Especially with the analysis that we have on the dollar. That's gonna be my personal, opinion of how would I like to see that kind of transpire. A C2 of the previous weekly high. Not only is it the previous weekly high, but this is an inside candle, right? And we already know the inside candles, if I take this high to this low, inside of this candle, the more candles that get printed, the more explosive the next movement is likely to be, right? So we have to be cognizant of that, and taking out this candle's high is already significant in itself, but since this is such a large candle, it's completely possible that we get multiple inside candles, so that's going to be something we got to look at. But if we get a C2 here, I mean, then the next week is, I think these relative equal lows down here, these failure swings are going to be pretty easy pickings, right? Notice as well something that I kind of want to keep an eye on. If you guys remember what we were talking about, the TDT stuff, you'll remember that I said that retracements are typically 3 to 4 candles long. So I also want to be potentially of the idea that if we don't get a C2 here, then maybe it's that third candle, right? And it would match up kind of nicely because then we could get a third weekly candle and then maybe a 7th daily candle, right? Or actually, maybe I was counting wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, maybe it doesn't work exactly like that. In terms of like it being right on the money of weekly 3 and daily 7. It could be daily 13, right? We'll just have to see. But if these two align in time, it's probably most likely going to be daily 13. Don't make fun of my math. But yeah, if these two align, that's going to give me a higher degree of confidence, and maybe that also kind of gives us some leeway to reach up all the way into here. So far there are no bearish signatures on the daily, so I want to be careful. If I get an inversion on the daily, then that's when I'm going to be really confident that we're going for these lows. But we have to see, right? This is looking pretty like a consolidation, and we also we also know that it's a consolidation because of the candle. It's an inside candle, right? Inside candles are typically consolidation. There was not a lot of movement this week. It was just more or less, you could see a little bit of choppiness, we'll say. But I'm kind of looking at this as our accumulation. I don't know the extent of the manipulation. I don't need to get right on the ass of the manipulation in order to be able to write it back down, right? I could wait and take my time, and even if it starts looking like this, I have all this time to wait. So I don't need to rush anything. As you guys already know, I'm not really a humongous fan of trading what I'm perceiving to be a manipulation. I would much rather trade the distribution, right? Significantly easier, in my opinion. So I'll be waiting for these forms of confirmation: weekly C2 on the higher time frame, daily inversion, right? Because if we are in a C2, we can still trade C2. It's just earlier and we have less confirmation, right? C3 is the higher probability one, but we're hunting right now. We are anticipating that is this a weekly? No. We're anticipating this to be a weekly C2. Well, we don't know that yet, right? That's why C2 is a lot harder. Now, if we get a C2 and then a close, the likelihood that we get C3 is much higher, much easier to see than it would be predicting a candle 2, right? So, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, thinking accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Obviously, if we get, you know, a weekly, we'll say like an inversion of this whole thing, then I would probably be like, all right, yeah, I mean, you can't really deny it after that. I just would like to see a C2 on the weekly in order for me to be like, okay, we are going to go up. So a C2 on the weekly bullish, or an inversion of this giant gap, which I know it's kind of crazy, but again, this is the kind of planning that needs to go into, like, you know, we caught this huge move down. That was super easy money. The preparation that went into that was, you know, intricate, we'll say. So we'll look at ETH. We'll kind of outline the same thing. ETH is looking a little bit more strong. Alright. Well, I'll annotate this later, don't worry. But yeah, we're just looking for the same thing, right? Weekly, and I mean, look at that. You know, I see something like that, I'm already thinking market maker sell model, baby. Consolidation looks too clean here, so I think maybe like one more move up and then back down. We could obviously reach into that. Nah, I would be really surprised if we reached up all the way into this for value up. So we're just gonna keep this one for now. We'll keep a nice little simple IRL to ERL. I'll come back and annotate it later. But you know, once you do all the hard analysis on BTC, then it becomes like significantly easier for the rest of the assets, because they all relatively look just about the same, right? So we got a weekly IRL, weekly ERL. Let's see what it looks like on the 4 hour, see if it looks really nice and clean. Not the cleanest, but can still definitely frame some AMD here. Okay, we'll take a look at hype. Hype is one I would not be shorting. Definitely not. We've seen it really hold its own against Bitcoin's bearish price action, and yeah, I mean, they're doing really good. Like, fundamentally, they're doing a lot of really good stuff. So yeah, I would wait. I mean, we got these relative equal highs, and we were eyeing that already. Like, I think if we go back to the old chart and we look at hype, no way it's giving me ads, bro. I paid. I literally paid. We talked about that. We talked about these relative equal highs, this accumulation, manipulation, distribution, and that's really nice to see. See, what else do we have? Daily IRL. Just nothing's happening with that. And Q. Yeah, we thought a little bit of a move lower. Wanted to see these highs get taken out. Yeah, so it's pretty consistent with what we've already been talking about. So it doesn't need to come all the way up here, right? We already know that the minimum low hanging fruit target objective should have been this. That's already been reached, right? So it doesn't need to make its way up there, but I mean, if I was a betting man, probably it is going up there. You know, we're about to get a fat change in state of delivery. Oh, actually, let's see, the open 63,811, close 63. Yeah, so we already got a change in state of delivery. So that boy is off to the races. So yeah, that's what we got on hype. No one cares about Forex, I don't think. Let's see, what do we have on gold? I know we're kind of bullish gold. Yeah. So we hit a really high time frame key level in this old weekly low. We swept it. We did not get a C2, which I need my C2. Now, if you're hitting if you're trading the hit of this key level, that is definitely permissible. You could definitely jump down on the 4-hour, even the 15-minute in some cases. Look for our confirmation patterns, entry techniques, and then trade the mean reversion of that. But because we do not have a C2, I don't know how confident in the longs I will be. Especially with that, right? If we start making an inversion here, change in state of delivery, relative equal lows, I need the C2. So maybe I won't play with gold this week. But I mean, there's a lot of nice low resistance liquidity. It was a high time frame key level. It's maybe, ooh, okay, that kind of changes things. We have double SMT with silver. This low stayed intact. Notice that this candle closes bullish, this one closes bearish. That's a precision swing point. So actually, I would maybe be looking for longs, but I would be looking more on silver and probably into these highs, I think. So you know what, we are going to be bullish gold, but I would much rather take silver. I think it will be stronger based off of the SMT. So we'll go bullish. We're thinking bullish. Oil, I believe we were looking at, yeah, we're looking at that low getting hit. Let me refresh this, bro, because I'm not supposed to be getting ads right now. Take my money, you take away the ads. That's the deal. But yeah, so on oil, we're literally just looking for this low to get hit at this point. Which I don't know. There's a lot of nice news, right, about the Strait of Hormuz being reopened. I don't know if you guys have been seeing that too. But we all know how that goes, don't we? I don't know. I don't know if we trust that. Yeah, I don't know if it's a good idea. I've heard enough. I'll say that. I've heard enough of there's already a deal, this and that, and then I don't see nothing. So I don't believe shit. I believe the chart. Whatever the chart whispers in my ear, that's what I'm gonna believe. So I think this low will get hit, and then they're gonna be like, oh yeah, actually, Iran said fuck you guys, and we get $200 a barrel, and our gas is fucked. That's not what I want to happen. But if I had to rub the magic crystal ball, that is what it would tell me, I think. Yeah, me too, bro. I mean, there's a lot of good news coming out, don't get me wrong, and I want to be optimistic, but I also don't want to lose trades. So I would rather not be optimistic. Silver, we already did that. Zcash, okay. Zcash was respecting this daily inversion. I didn't know if it was gonna be able to do it, but it did respect the inversion, and it did respect the fair value gap, and it's on the move up, boys. It is on the move up, and I am thinking it may have the ganas, the cojones, to outpace Bitcoin, even if Bitcoin starts to look like shit. But yeah, so Zcash, we'll be looking for there, maybe some re-entries in whatever fair value gaps we make in here, if you want to go long. That's what I would be looking at. Yeah, so it doesn't look interesting to me. We at 0 yet? I'm interested. I'm literally gonna follow this coin all the way until we get to 0, bro. When I see it at 0, I will stop looking at this coin. This is our target for this coin. Low leverage short. Just keep it on there. Keep it on there for your kids. Blue chip. Nah, just kidding. Blue chip short. Totally joking. Please don't take that seriously. So Nier had a weekly, not C2, but we are in a nice weekly IRL to ERL, right? Which again, I'll annotate these later. Pinky promise. Let's go down to the daily. Yeah, and I mean, it didn't do the inversion, and it didn't respect this for value gap, so this one was a little bit more tricky. But once we got that daily change in state of delivery, that's money ball right there. So yeah, I think let's see what it looks like on the 4-hour. I don't love it because there's no relative equal highs. I would much rather trade one of the ones that has relative equal highs. But I do like this consolidation for shorts later. Maybe something like that. I don't know if it could go all the way up there. Maybe this caps it out and we start seeing reversal signatures from there. But I'm confident that if our other analysis plays out, that these lows are going to be cleaned up. Ton. Technically also in a weekly IRL to ERL move, but the ERL is very, very far. And I don't think it has, well, I guess it's not that far. Sort of relative equal highs, but not really. I would be surprised if it made it up all the way up here. But I do like this little consolidation we're making. I do like that, right? So maybe a little move up, and then back down. So again, I don't know if it has, I don't know. I don't think it has the gas to move all the way up there. But more than happy to be wrong. And Wild still does not give a shit. Excellent. Gotta love that. We gotta love the anti-heroes, even though they're not my favorite to trade. I mean, it's doing its thing. Yeah, from here, I would just pretty much be working off the daily order blocks. That's what looks consistent to me. Alright, we got a daily order block here. Alright, bang, we hit that order block. Start moving. We get a new order block here. Retest it there. Bang. So I don't know. If I wanted to enter, which, to be honest with you, I would not really be looking for longs on this, but if I was, I'll be looking for us to come into the discount and then back up into here. So something along those lines. Hello. That is a nasty wick. The Hollow boys are not gonna like this, but the only thing I would really be looking at is a move into this IRL. I'm sorry. Actually, maybe I lied. Okay, yeah. How about this one? Okay, got that nice little discount for value gap and a nice order block. Top it off like a cherry on top. Okay, a lot of low resistance, a lot of relative equal highs. So let's take out these relative equal lows. Let's hit these high time frame key levels, and then we can talk maybe some more money ball. Yeah. All right. So I think that's pretty much it. Any questions? Any other coins you guys wanted to look at? Let me know. Now is the time. I'm getting an alert that Trump warns France to kill tech tax or face a 100% wine tariff. Excellent job, Trump. Good job. Tax their fucking wine. Alright, cool. Cool. Well, I hope everyone had a good weekend. Guys, take this week slow. Especially if you guys have been on a win streak from the past analysis. Take it slow. That the more that the week progresses, the more information at your disposal, the better equipped you are to make high probability trades. So no need to rush. Just take it nice, chill. There's nothing here for us yet. you guys already know, Monday, that's what we're game planning. This is a war room, bro. So we're here to win the war, not the battle. If you're brand new, if you consider yourself a beginner, play in the sand, paper trade, watch what happens from 2 to 2:30 to 2:30 to 3. So it should be a 2-stage event, right? Like we talked about, we get 2 o'clock, right? And then 2:30. Expect that move to kind of probably be erased, gone against, right? And I would say probably Tuesday's not the best day to trade either. But yeah, Wednesday FOMC, the after 2:30, I would trade if you're not a beginner, and then Thursday I think will be the ideal day. But we'll see. Maybe if Tuesday moves good, it'll give us some information. Yeah. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up. Once again, I really appreciate you guys turning up. As always, I got stuff in the background that we're gonna be planning to learn. Really tighten up our stuff. I know that we were already really comfortable with what I've already taught, which makes me happy. But can always get better. That same thing goes for me. So we'll get it done. Yeah. All right, G's. You have a good rest of your day. Peace.